when you think of playing a course such as the Beast, very difficult for 4 rounds, it kind of seems daunting at first, but what it really comes down to is playing each hole moment by moment. It's a cliche, but it really is true. You have to really digest it. Just show up Thursday, whenever your tee time is, put a good practice session in the field, warm up properly, and just take it day by day.
Even though this year they have shortened some of the holes, I feel like still quite a lot of distance is required on some of these shots. But mostly you have to be extremely accurate. Keep the disc in bounds. It's been very windy.
In order to be able to design a major level course, you need to understand the game deeper. And of course the game is changing all the time. So I would say that this particular course is representing kind of not the modern type, like an open field golf course shots, but this is more like that you really need to have an angle control, which is very important. So that's something that I really cherish as a course designer, because it's not about the distance, it's about the accuracy.
I think out here, there's definitely plenty of spots to go out of bounds, and bogeys are going to happen. You're not just going to play perfectly clean every single round, so it's just, not letting things, compound and getting a bogey after you just got a bogey.
Course design is probably one of the things I like the most, because it's almost like an art. You have a piece of property that you can build or design as a golf course, and you really can challenge, and you want to challenge every skill set of the player, and that is especially in place here at the Beast.
Yet another drizzly afternoon here in Nokia, Finland. Round 2 of the European Open is about to begin. But first, let's talk about it. Tournament Central. I'm Brian Earhart, joined here by Andrew Gum yet again. Andrew, chaos yesterday. It felt like it dropped 20 degrees, it raised 20 degrees, the rain fell, the rain stopped. So many things happened out there for this lead card, and they seemed to prevail pretty well.
Yeah, it was definitely topsy-turvy as far as the weather goes. It seems like when we were getting ready to get started, it was a lovely summer day, and then, yeah, buckets of rain and wind, pretty uncomfortable, chilly.
Yeah, well, I mean, we watched this feature card. We watched Kyle Klein play himself into the lead while the rain was falling on him. He came up to us on hole number 4, and he laughed and said, I wasn't prepared for this at all. And clearly, it was totally fine. He pushed through. He shot 7 under on the front 9, ended up pushing to 10 under par total. Fantastic score. I think that should hold up over the week if the rain continues to fall. What do you know about the rain that's falling this afternoon?
Well, it wasn't forecast to rain, so it's a bit of a surprise again. Even yesterday, we were expecting maybe some light showers, and it was quite heavy. Now we weren't expecting anything, and it's raining a little bit. It seems to be stopping now, and I see blue skies, and it's not too windy, so hopefully it's going to be good weather by the time the lead card tees off. But the 10 down that Kyle Klein put in those weather conditions is amazing, absolutely amazing, because he scored mostly on the front 9. That's when the weather was rough. Mm-hmm. It was sunny, like shiny sun for the last 5 or 6 holes, right?
Yeah, well, and the interesting thing is he's joining players on the lead card that shot their 9 under pars in great weather. That morning they had fantastic weather with no changes. I think this can only serve Kyle well as he moves into some of these holes with a lot less challenge. Do you think this gives him room to improve?
Yeah, if he can shoot 10 down in those conditions, he could do even better potentially.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the other thing is it prepares him for if more rain does fall this afternoon. Players on the lead card with him, including Ezra Aderhold, really didn't see as much rain as he did, so he knows what to expect coming into the day. I think Kyle just needs to continue with his game plan. He looks fantastic. I've always said he seems to be suited well to the creativity required for European-style disc golf. But let's also talk Ezra Aderhold. He also played himself up to the lead card. He fought through the toughest stretch of the course, 15 through 18, in the rain and did pretty well. What do you expect to see from him today?
Well, he's incredibly talented. I think he has a skill set to score well on any type of course, but particularly well here. It seems like it's suiting his game pretty well.
Well, the thing is, he didn't putt incredibly well from Circle 2 yesterday. Still shot 9 under par. I think there's a lot of room to grow. I think one of his specialties is that shallow Circle 2 step putt. We talked about it a little bit yesterday. Ezra kind of up and down. I mean, he seems to be up there in the points in general. He has some fantastic finishes. He has some less than stellar finishes this year in the States. But he comes over here. I mean, he snagged quite a few birdies in the front 9. But look at the back 9. I mean, the score is 14 through 18.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and he's a really good quality player and seems really consistent. I think he's still searching for that really big breakout win. Is that right?
Absolutely. And I think the goal from him today is using the power that he has, compressing it into slower discs, throwing more controllable shots on these holes, and just sticking it in the fairway. I think this can only serve him well if he can continue to do that. With that said, your leader, Kyle Klein, talked to us yesterday after his round. Let's hear what Kyle had to say.
I wasn't really prepared for any rain. I had, I think, 2 towels that luckily lasted all day, no umbrella, and luckily I was able to get one. But I guess I didn't bother to look at the forecast before, so I wasn't expecting that. But had a game plan of how to keep all my discs dry, keep my hand dry, and go as fast as I could, but still be in control. I'm going in more mentally, treating it like it's just any other tournament, because if I've found out in the past, if I go into a tournament preparing, being like this is a major, you have to do well, then I kind of psych myself out, and it's a little harder to be stress-free out there. Well, and I had 2 middle circle 2 putts on back-to-back holes I left out there, but they were a little tricky putts. I wasn't too upset with those.
Well, 2 household names from the U.S. played their way to the lead card, but 2 Finns we have to talk about. Nestri and Ani, I think they played phenomenal golf. You've seen a lot of them. Let's talk the Finns on the lead card after this commercial break.
In 40 yards, do not turn left or right. Just drive. You have reached your destination. You are home.
If any fan hears that there is a card with Mauri Vilman, Chris Dickerson, Albert Tam and Onni Arminen, maybe not many of them would bet on you, but you have won all of these players and you're the current leader of the European Open. Onni, how do you feel?
I feel great. Great round, and I did my best and I managed to do it well.
You played with such good players as Mauri, as Albert, as Chris Dickerson.
Yeah.
And does it boost your level? Is it like a boost of confidence or motivation?
Of course, yeah. I saw their drives were landed on the fairway, and I just tried to copy that, and I did quite well, I think so.
It started raining on hole 15, I think, and it was pretty bad, but I think I did pretty well still.
So see you tomorrow in one of the first cards.
See you.
Well, we have to first talk about Ani Arminen on the lead card. You looked at his clothing, unsponsored. You've asked around, you've seen not very little from him really, but you've heard some things about him. What do you know about Ani?
Well, he's a local guy from the Tampere area. He's about 18 years old, I believe. I guess he doesn't throw super far. Is what I had to dig a little bit to find out, because he's pretty fresh, on the scene. He did get third recently at the Oulu on the Prodigy Disc Pro Tour. That's a really good result up there. And yeah, but I guess what I'm hearing from the Finnish player is that he doesn't throw super far, but that he has amazing touch, and they compare him to Bradley Williams.
So very technical, very smooth, methodical player, and really for what UC Maresma said at the press conference, that suits this course very well. They want to challenge angle control, they want to challenge speed, and it's no surprise Bradley Williams is directly behind him. So Ani Arminen, opportunity to make a huge splash in the disc golf scene and maybe put some logos on those shirts in future events. We also have to talk about Nestori. I mean, Nestori is a phenomenal player as well, making the lead card. He's a fantastic player that we've seen on coverage multiple times. What do you know about him?
Nestor Tukkonen is a big guy. He's strong and tall. He throws power shots. He's got good putting as well. He was the 2021 Finnish junior national champion. He played really well in Turku last week. He was pushing Jesse Niemann in there till the very end. And so, yeah, I think he's in good form right now.
So many players from Finland coming out with so much power, and again from both sides. I believe Nestori reminds me of like an Albert Tam type character.
Exactly.
I mean, explosive power from both sides of the disc, and that was what I watched recently when I was kind of studying his game. What does he need to keep clean in order to push this for 3 more rounds?
From what I've seen from him, he plays pretty clean in general. He doesn't make a lot of big mistakes. So I guess he just has to really capitalize on all the opportunities he has to score. And then in that case, he should be, right up there at the top.
Well, again, we talked about Ani having kind of the skill set required to play well out here. You don't necessarily need to go for eagles, but if you can just chip away at these fairways, stay in bounds, and score nicely, just take birdies as they come. Obviously, 9 under par is fantastic. We have to also talk about one more player, a tale of 2 Anis. Ani Ruusinen also shooting a 9 under par, making the chase card. We did see some logos on him. Clearly, he is a player that's proven himself. What do you know?
I know he's very young. He's still going to be playing the Finnish Junior National Championships this year and the European Juniors. So he's, very young still, but also very well accomplished in the junior scene. He won the 15 and under junior championship a couple years ago. He took second place last year in the 18 and under juniors. So he's probably looking to get that junior title under his belt.
Well, the first round is always exciting because players like this can pop off, but can they keep it going for 3 more rounds? They have the opportunity to prove themselves on the Disc Golf Network for the very first time. Players that have done that already, Paul McBeth and Eagle McMahon, coming up just short. We're just going to have to see. On the other side of the commercial break, we will talk the McBattle yet again.
What makes the Halal Guys so deliciously different? You might have heard of our famously long cart lines that NYC fans happily stand in. Today, with over 100 plus restaurants across the globe, we are your place to experience authentic American halal. Enjoy our delicious falafel, Euro sandwich, platters, and sides topped with our famously flavorful white and hot sauces. Order online today and taste how we make different so delicious. The Halal Guys, bringing something deliciously different to the table.
One of my favorite memories growing up was a trip I took with my dad to Hawaii. We just got done with a round of disc golf and decided to listen to the Grateful Dead. Without saying anything, we both knew we needed to dance, and that's exactly what we did. Sometimes you just need to stop and enjoy the music.
Welcome back. A couple of players that gave us a serious show last year, still just a couple off the lead. Paul McBeth, Eagle McMahon, 8 under par. pretty solid watching Kyle Klein shoot the 10. All three of them on the same card, playing in the same rain conditions. Everyone seemed to kind of handle it a little bit differently. Paul did seem prepared, but seemed quite frustrated early on. What did you see from him?
Yeah, it wasn't like the lights out type of performance that we can see from Paul McBeth, but this is a 4-round tournament. This is a major. We know that this is what he trains for all year, and this is where he peaks with his performance, and he knows how to pace himself for the 4 rounds. So I think 8 down is perfect start for him. He doesn't need to lead the show right from the start.
Exactly, and I think this is a position that he kind of likes being in. I think the thing that I noticed was on hole number 5, he tried going for a forehand off the tee with kind of a slow, overstable putter mid-range and slipped on the tee. Disc slips out of his hand. He hates it. Steps up in the middle of the rain and jams a 45-footer with perfect follow-through and balance. I mean, this to me shows the willpower of Paul McBeth and his focus on getting to where he wants to go. He wants this major title. I think 2 strokes off the lead is nothing, and it's always scary knowing that you have 2 players that have won this tournament on your heels. Kyle is playing defense mode at this point. Eagle McMahon, slow start yesterday. Did not get anything going and fought through, especially after the rain subsided. What does Eagle need to do to push even farther?
Well, he needs to get off to a little bit better start. Obviously, he finished strong. On this course, some of the more scoreable holes are right out of the gates. Mm-hmm. So if he can get off to that hot start, and then his skill set is just through the roof. So the guy's capable of anything.
Well, we noticed his forehand looks good. I mean, number 9, he threw a solid, under control forehand, put himself within a easy putt for birdie. He threw a couple of really bold rollers off the tee that paid off for him yesterday. I think the one on hole number 2, he ended up missing it. He was pinned high, but I think Eagle needs to maybe redial in the game plan if the wind tends to pick up again, like it usually does out here. Those early birdies are just so crucial. I mean, the way he played in the backstretch is great, but can you keep that up over 4 rounds?
Yeah, I mean, last year he was incredible, right? He was almost perfect through 4 rounds. So maybe he can tap into that and do something similar for the rest of the show here.
Well, again, today, rain's falling, rain is not falling, rain's falling. It feels like it's going to be an unpredictable day out there. If the conditions are dry, I think Paul still has a very good chance. UDisc, even though Paul is 2 strokes off the lead, is still giving him the upper hand in regards to the win percentage. Do you agree with the algorithm?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Of course, it is just an algorithm based on statistics, so you can't take it too seriously. But I think in this case, he has, easily a third of a chance to win, maybe more.
With all this young talent that we have, all these young European players coming up, I mean, yes, we're talking about Paul. Yes, we're talking about Eagle. There's so many other players that have an opportunity to take this victory down. But again, Eagle McMahon coming up for his 2nd round today. He had a lot to say yesterday. Let's hear what he had to say.
Just, I knew I had to keep my head in the game. The front 9, I really felt like I wasn't getting very good kicks. And of course, when you're huddled underneath an umbrella trying to keep everything dry, it becomes really difficult. And I was just thinking to myself that a lot of good players went out early and didn't really have to deal with some of the adverse conditions. So I really just told myself, you got to hunker down, stay focused, play each shot one at a time. And luckily, or fortunately, I found a groove that put me right back up near the top of the leaderboard, only 2 off the lead with 3 rounds at the European Open left to go. I don't really know what exactly it is. If a disc golfer knew what it was, then they'd win every tournament, and that's what we're always chasing for, to string together birdies whenever it happens. You look back on it, you're like, how'd that happen? But I'm very glad that it happened. Just put myself aside and played each hole in front of me. You got to power through. You can't fall into that mentality, because it could have very easily been the other way around, where it rained in the morning and had perfect conditions in the afternoon. I know that the FPO have played in a lot of rain to start the day, and we've had great weather. So it's a flip of a coin, but regardless of the situation, it's the shot at hand. Make the best out of your situation.
I have to say, it's been an absolute pleasure to watch Eagle McMahon evolve as not only an athlete, but a thinker. as well as he's just gotten older. And I think him speaking about victim mentality in a situation like this where the rain falls on you and not necessarily the cards earlier, I think it speaks to how mature he is becoming at such a young age still. I mean, we first saw him pop on the scene when he was 16, 17 years old, and now he's a veteran of the game, still in his early 20s. So for him to say that and say that he's just really focusing on just taking it as it comes and not letting victim mentality take over, this to me is speaking to his ability to take down more major titles. It felt like so many times he crumbled under pressure or would lose his temper, and now that seems to be taken care of. He's put in the work on that side. But with that said, there's so many other young players chasing after Eagle, Paul, Kyle Klein, everybody else on the lead card. Are there any other European players that you are looking to pop off today?
Well, I really like Eagle's mindset. First of all, that's the mindset of a champion. You know, that's brilliant. I would be thinking that Christian Quoksa is somebody to keep an eye on. I think he was maybe almost in the top 10 or somewhere around there. Incredibly talented player, throws as far as anybody in the world. But he's developed a touch game in the off season, and his putting has been looking really nice this year.
Yeah, well, Christian, if you are someone who studies form and wants to learn how to throw farther watching at home, Christian Quoksa is absolutely somebody to watch. Some of the most engaging off-arm technique in the entire game, so solid from a biomechanical standpoint. But again, it's one thing to know how to throw a disc, it's another thing to play golf with that disc. So a lot of variables out there on the beast. With that said, we're going to take one more commercial break. On the other side, we're going to wrap things up for you.
What's up, guys? I'm out here at the European Open, and I want to remind you all to head over to the European Open online pro shop to check out some exclusive drops such as discs, merchandise, apparel, and much more. Thank you all for supporting the event, and enjoy the show.
Welcome back. Creeping up into a tie with Kyle Klein, Teemu Lampainen, another young phenom from Finland. Andrew, what is going on with all this young talent that seems to be popping off out of nowhere? Can you tell me more about him?
About Teemu, well, yeah, he's another young, super talented player from the Turku area, Latitude sponsored. Really complete package. He's got everything, well-rounded game. And I think we've all been sort of just waiting for him to take a big win. He was second at the Finnish Nationals last year behind Niklas Anttila. And yeah, he's been right there in the mix quite a few times.
Talk about the culture here in Finland and how they treat disc golf. It seems to breed all this young talent, and people have been saying for years, just you wait. One of these days, a huge wave is going to come over here and dominate the scene. What exactly is that?
Well, I think it all starts with Jussi Meresmaa, the guy who's putting this whole thing together. You know, he's the one who's had the dream and the long-term vision from the start. But then, you know, there's been some great role models like Seppo Paju, like Vaino Mäkelä, these guys that are you know, going on tour and showing that you can make a living out of disc golf, that you can be a really successful person in Finland, that you can be like a celebrity here. You know, you can be a superstar, and this is a mainstream sport here. And these young guys, this is their career decision. This is not a game for them. This is the real thing.
And I have to say, you know, even in the wintertime, the players are training and they have so many opportunities to continue training disc golf. Where do these players go? How are they training in the off season with such little daylight and such cold temperatures?
Well, they've actually been training in the National Olympic Stadium in Helsinki. They've had a cooperation between Finland and Sweden. The national coach Jonas Merala is an incredible guy and an amazing coach, and he's really putting these people on programs. He's figuring out ways to make them the best they can be, and it's a really beautiful thing to see.
Well, that's a pretty clear message to the U.S. that we got to step up our game and develop some more youth talent. This is incredible, and I can't wait to see the next 3 rounds play out here at the European Open. We're going to wrap things up here. We're not going to keep you any longer. We're going to send it out down to the ground. For Tournament Central, I'm Brian Earhart, Andrew Gum. We'll see you out there.
What's up, guys? I'm here at the European Open, and I want to remind you to go check out the European Open online pro shop to check out some exclusive discs, merchandise, apparel, and so much more. Thank you for supporting the event, and enjoy the show.
A round of disc golf can be long, and if you're playing in a tournament, it can feel like a marathon. This can leave you physically and mentally fatigued by the end when your shots matter most. With space for your discs, water, and even a place to sit, a cart enables you to bring what you need, helping you feel more prepared and energized without carrying the extra weight. This can help you maintain your edge and save you strokes through every round.